Hi guys, welcome back to Point Blank Dev. In this tutorial, we are going to look at how to create a record. But before we are going to do that, I want us to understand what a record is. In one of our previous videos, we treated arrays. An array is a collection of data items which have the same data type. So you can basically use an array to store data with the same data type. For instance, you have an array of integers, so they must all be integers, they must all be integers. This is an array of integers. Okay, so but how to do that? You simply say 1 to 9, specify. This is an array of 9 integers. Okay, so we can as well store float point numbers and simply say 1.0 to 9.0. This is an array of a float point number. So you can store an array of string, simply say Casper, you can say Molly, whatever you want. But an array is used to store items with the same data type. So if you are storing integers in an array, the array must contain only integers, and if you are storing float point numbers in the array must contain only float point numbers. So but what a record will do for you is that a record will allow you to store items or data items with different data types. Now it's not specifying that it must be one data type. You can store different data type. So without wasting much time, let us see how we can do that. So I'm going to say program record example. I'm going to record example. I'm going to name my program record example. You can decide to give it any name of your choice. So the syntax of creating a record is to simply say the type and give it any name. I want to call it a student, and then it's equal to a record. Make sure you don't misspell anything, or else you have an error. Now type student is equal to record. Notice that I did not put a full stop here, or a semicolon here, or a full colon. But when I hit enter, you are going to see an end coming down here with a semicolon. Now you can see an arrow drawn from the type here down to the end. This is telling you that this is where the record starts and where it ends. So inside the record, the name of the record is student. And what are the features of a student? A student has a name, and the data type of name is going to be string. The students have a matric number, and the matric number is also going to be a string. Make sure you don't misspell anything. String. And then the student also have an age. The age is going to be integer. A student also have let me just paste this up down so we can view what we're doing clearly. Let's say a nickname. The nickname is also going to be a string. So now notice that we have instantiated a record here, or we have declared a record before we have even begin our program. So now let's create a variable that will store this whole stuff here inside. Now this is the variable that we are going to be referencing to anytime we want to access any member of this student here. So if I say var, and then I'm going to say student data, and then I say the student data is what is the student. Now what I've said, I've created a variable called student data, and I've assigned it the value of what? Everything here, student. The student data is the student. Okay, so now this is where I'm going to begin my main program. As you can see, begin end. My main program will begin here. My main program will begin here. My main program will begin, as you can see, it's having a, okay, it's supposed to have a full stop, not a semicolon. My main program will begin here. So now I want to be accessing each of the members of this record here. So in order to access that, we have already grabbed everything here, stored it in the student, and now we are saying student is equal to student data. So student data is also equal to student. If I say 1 equal to 2, that means 2 is also equal to 1. So for me to access a member here, what I'm going to say is student data dot. Now the dot is going to show you all the members of that class. As you can see, age, matric number, name, nickname. These are the members of this student's record here. So in other programming language, there's something called a class. Now a class is a blueprint from which you can create your stuffs. So this is like the class, the members of this class, and then we are accessing the members of this class using the dot notation. This dot means dot notation. Dot, like, let me spell it here. Dot notation. So, but we are going to be accessing the student's name. The student's name, and then we are going to say the student's name is what? Because the student name is a string, we are going to store it in a pair of single quotes. The student name is what? Let's say Casper. Noun, student data dot age, and then we are going to say, now this is an integer. The age is an integer. So you are going to store the integer without using the pair of single quotes. You are just going to say Casper is, let's say he's 12 years old. And then let's say student data dot matric number, and then we are going to set the matric number. Matric number is a string. Now the data type of the matric number here is a string, so we are going to say BSU C CMP. We are going to say 19, and we are going to say stuff like that. So now we are going to say, actually this is his nickname. We are going to say his name is Gerard, and then student data dot nickname. Make sure you don't misspell anything. The nickname, his nickname is going to be, the nickname is also of data type string, so you are going to put it in a pair of single quote. His nickname is Casper. So now we want to write to our console screen to output all this stuff here. So what we are going to do is we are going to say write line, and then we are going to say the student's name. Now what we want to do is, now look at this. for each character or pair or a combination of characters you write, you put them inside single quotes. Now I've put it slashed inside a single quote. When it's written on the console screen, you only see a slash. So for me to put an apostrophe, I am going to put it inside single quotes. Look at it here. It's inside single quotes. But if I decide to put it alone like this, you are going to see an error. Okay, so we'll put it inside single quote. Students. So I'm just going to forget about that. We don't want any errors. Let's just simply say his name is, and then outside the quote I want to say student data dot name. Come down, I'm going to write line. I'm going to write line empty one to give a space on the console screen. Alright, line. His age is student data.age. I'm still going to do the same thing down here, and then copy this. I'm going to say right line. I've double stuff here. Right line. His matriculation. His matriculation number is student data dot matric underscore number, and then I'm still going to give a space on the console. Then I'm going to copy this again. Line. His nickname is student dot nickname. So I want to save. I'm going to try to run my program. Now we are seeing that the age here is an integer. Student data.age is an integer. So what is the error with that? Oh my God, I said int. I was thinking maybe I'm writing some Java program. So int. Okay, success. Now you can see this same error here. To prevent that, we are simply going to write real line. So to prevent that error, or to allow the console screen stay whenever we run our program, let me just run it again so that you see. If I run my program, it's going to do successfully, but the console screen will pop up and then it will stop executing. Execution stopped. So in order to force it to keep executing, we are simply going to say read line, as we have been always saying in our previous tutorials. So if I run it now, his name is Gerard, his age is 12, his matriculation number is, his nickname is Casper. Oh my God, this is amazing. Now you can see we have simply gotten the data of a student. Now we can see that we have handled values or data with a lot of different data types. We have handled string, integer, string. We have basically handled string and integers. These are values with two different data types. So, but if it were an array, it will only allow you to store only string or only integers. So basically we have had two arrays that will store all these: name, matric number, nickname. But because of the record here, this record, we are able to store all of them here. That is amazing. So guys, this is it for this tutorial, and I would also love to see you in the next class. As usual, like the video, share it to a friend, a family member, a schoolmate, whoever you feel is interested. Just share the video and then subscribe. And don't always forget to hit the notification bell so that whenever I release new content, you'll always be the first to get notified. So thank you for watching, and then I hope to see you in the next class.